You are watching
Trinity Episcopal School Production Network. TESPN.
Welcome to this week's TESPN podcast, and we are thrilled to be joined by some boys soccer players. So we've got senior Jack Cranston, senior Joe Turkley, junior Hagen Andrew, who is on the TESPN staff and one of our interviewers today, but he also is on the soccer team as well. And I'm Rick Hamlin, and I'm excited to ask these guys a few questions. So season off to a pretty good start. I think 2 wins, a loss, and a draw in the early going against a pretty tough schedule. But the first question I wanted to ask each of you is, both of you have an expanded role on the team this year. So last year, 9 seniors. Some of the playing time, a lot of the playing time went to the older guys. So Jack, you didn't get as much time last year. Now you're pretty much starting, playing every minute, playing a new position, at least within Trinity Soccer. I don't know if you played center back, maybe at the club level. And then Joe, last year you kind of split time at goalkeeper with Mitchell Kugelman, but now you're getting all the minutes so far. So just could you each talk about what it's like having a bigger role on the field as well as in a leadership position as seniors?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been preparing for this for all throughout last year too. I knew once Kugelman graduated, I'd be getting a lot more minutes. So I really just tried to mentally prepare for that. And it was such an exciting opportunity. I was really looking forward to this season, all throughout last spring and this summer. So I was really looking forward to that, and being a senior leader on the team, I think it's really important. Even though we have a small group of seniors, it's important to kind of make our own identity on the team, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of that this year.
I think being in the program since 8th grade and being able to look up to all the players that have passed has been really helpful in preparing for what we have now, which is a small senior class. I think we have 4 or 5 returning juniors from last year that are now seniors, and we have 4 more that just joined this year. So,
That's kind of amazing in its own right, that you had 4 seniors who joined soccer this year that hadn't played previously. I mean, that's kind of a cool, just what Mr. Griffin might call a mission moment for Trinity in terms of discover your path, where guys like Nathan Sims, or I'm trying to think of some of the other guys. Banga. I know Liam O'Neill's a junior. Yeah, Ryan Lloyd. These are guys who come out who weren't even playing soccer, so that's pretty cool. And I guess let me just follow up question, and then Hagen, we'll have you ask your first question. But how has it been integrating so many new faces? Because last year's team was very similar personnel-wise to the year before. There were a few key seniors in class of 22, but really from y'all's sophomore to junior year, the core of the team didn't change a whole lot. But now, very different group. So how's it been trying to bring these new guys up to speed?
I think it's been fun. We have a lot of different characters on the team.
Yeah.
Liam O'Neill, he gives us some pep talks and stuff. After practice yesterday, really motivational.
Yeah, I think the thing about the year past is that they really worked all throughout the previous spring and summer, coming out to U of R and stuff. And I think we had a really good turnout for summer pickup, but we've been trying to find our footing recently, and I think now we're really starting to play how we want to play.
For sure, and I would add, having seen all 3 home games, John Paul the Great, then Covenant, then Norfolk Academy, the improvement in just a week was really remarkable in my eyes as someone that watches a lot of soccer. I also add, in terms of the roster, I've mentioned this on both the broadcasts we've done, but taking soccer aside, if you just look at the people on the varsity boys soccer team this year, I'm really jealous of the coaches, because it's just a really great group of people to get to work with, regardless of soccer ability. Just a lot of great dudes out there, which must be fun to be on the team. Speaking of great dudes on the team, Hagen is one, but Hagen, you're here not as an interviewee, but an interviewer. So what do you got for these guys?
So I wanted to ask y'all, both of y'all being like defensive more or less on the team, when stuff starts to break down on the field and like us not having as much experience like with the newer players, how do y'all think like y'all's like leadership and like communication has been able to help out on those like stressful moments?
I think being able to just give advice as plays going, like after a play, like I'll tell like Roman or someone like that didn't play a lot last year or someone like that, just what they should be doing in a moment like that. I think that's good.
Has it been hard for you to find your voice as a leader, or that's something that you feel has kind of come naturally?
I think it's been pretty natural. I've been playing club for a long time, and leadership roles in there, so something I'm used to.
Joe, what about you, to Hagen's point?
Yeah, I mean, I think communication is definitely something that I can still work on to improve, but I think just being important is like always having a positive attitude. Like sometimes you need to, like if you're giving constructive criticism, just like take a second and like think like, how is my tone like gonna make this person feel, and like just really think about how you can like lift your teammates up.
Joe, this question's for you. We went back in the sports media class just this week and watched the end of the Woodbury game last year in the state tournament, the penalty kick shootout that you stepped up huge and made 2 huge saves, at least, and then I think there was maybe a post that intervened in there as well. But we watched as a class that interview with you, which was in such an incredible, exhilarating moment for you, and then to get headphones thrust on you and be asked questions, and you kind of got a chance to react very much in the moment. Well, now, about 9.5 months later, when you think back on that, which I have to think, at least up to this point, is the highlight of your career, I would assume, making saves to get your team into the state Final Four. Now a little more time to reflect on it. Just tell me, what do you remember about that evening, really night by the time the shootout came around, because it was pretty much dark out there. Just what is your recollection of that amazing game that's easily one of my favorite moments that we've had since we started TESPN?
I remember like being on the sideline, and as like the clock was ticking down and we were still tied, I was like, like
because you knew
might be time. Yeah, like I knew I'd go in the second overtime period. So I mean, I was really excited to go in. I love going in for penalties because like how my mindset is, like they're supposed to score. So like the pressure's not really on me. So I really like take in the moment when I'm in like a penalty shootout. And yeah, it was like, I think the biggest contributor to like our success in that was the student section. I mean, that was the largest crowd I've ever seen at definitely any soccer game here. And just all the noise, like all the different sports teams after practice coming out, moving like right to the action, not even on the bleachers, but like right to the corner flag. It was such an amazing moment.
It was. I'm glad you used the word moment, because I was actually just sitting here thinking that, like, when you get to be my age and have been involved in high school sports for a long time, what stand out the most are moments. You know, it's not even necessarily seasons or games, but it's moments like that. And that moment is one that none of us who were there will ever forget. And then really think about it this way until right now, but I mean, you essentially like gave a gift to Titan Nation, to the Trinity community with, I mean, twice they had it on their foot. They scored, game over, season over, 9 seniors, high school career over, and you stepped up and made those saves. And now there are probably players who didn't even play in that game, or fans who attended that game, that will look back, 10, 20, 30 years from now and be like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing. And you gave them that memory in large part. So that's something really, an amazing achievement, and speaks to your hard work. And let me give you one more follow-up as well for Joe, and then Jack, I got some for you in a minute too. But I want you to speak for a minute. You're unique in that you have kind of a coach dedicated primarily to helping you. A goalie coach and Coach Tyree, who also is an amazing help for all of TESPN and Trinity Athletics, girls soccer, boys soccer. But could you just talk for a minute, a little bit, a few points about things you've learned from Coach Tyree and what that relationship is like?
Man, I mean, pretty much like all the fundamentals, like almost everything I know is about goalkeeping is from Tyree, because I only played, before I worked with Tyree in the beginning of my sophomore year, I only played goalkeeper for 2 seasons, and I never really had a dedicated goalkeeper coach, so I didn't really know much about the position. But working with him, the dynamic between us and Mitchell for those 2 seasons, at like every practice was just like such an enjoyable and like moment to look forward to in my day. And I think it's really important to have someone who can coach you, like be serious when they need to, and really ingrain like techniques within you, but also like be able to joke around with and have a good time.
And I'm sure he's enjoyed working with you, because in some ways your inexperience helps him, because you haven't formed bad habits. So in a way you're like, this piece of clay that he can mold, and you have the core things you need to be good at goalkeeper, which are athleticism and fearlessness. And then he's able to take those attributes and add technique, and it really is remarkable the improvement that you've shown with your hard work and Coach Tyree's tutelage. So Jack, I wanted to ask you about, at least, and I don't know, perhaps in club you played center back before, but to me, in the previous 4 years I've seen you in this program, that's not a position you played. So can you just discuss what it's been like for you transitioning to that center back role, which, for me as a soccer coach, is the second most important position on the field, just behind the goalkeeper. When you have a great goalkeeper and great center backs, you always have a chance. So what's that been like?
I don't think it's been too hard. I mean, Matthias is a great partner to have.
Yeah,
and
he's awesome.
For club, I've never really had to play like starting center back. I've been filling in for players, because I play center defensive mid usually. So it's not too different, center defensive mid and center back, but it hasn't been too difficult.
Yeah, well, so far so good, and for me, you were the man of the match in that NA game. So hopefully that's good to build on. I mean, they had so much speed up front, and I think you would probably be the first to say, like, if there's one area where you're not as great, you're not the quickest, but you did a great job, like, using your body and your mind to beat them to the spot. And so it didn't really ever rear its head, in terms of particularly their striker being amazingly quick. You did a nice job, more or less, containing him. Hagen?
So with having such a strong team and such a strong run last year for the state title, how are y'all feeling this year about, like, just that run again? And with our new players, like, we may not have, like, the most skill, but with, like, how athletic we are and how, like, shaping up to how that team was last year for this year.
I mean, I think we definitely have a very solid team this year. It's very different from the team last year, but I think in our own way, like, we could definitely make a really deep run in the States, and I'm really excited and look forward to see. And I feel like we're improving every single game, so by the time it gets to the state tournament, I'm really excited to see where we're going to be.
I think it's going to be good. I mean, most of our team, this is their first year playing soccer, and so many people have made such big improvements already. Like you, Higgin, you play lacrosse mainly, and your aggression and speed is good. Same with Liam's. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I was really struck on Tuesday at the Norfolk Academy game that, guys who are new to high school soccer were contributing in big moments late in the game, like Nathan Sims and Liam O'Neill and Ryan Lloyd, who haven't even been out there, much less someone like Grayson Beulah, who was on JV last year. So
He did great.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's do this. Let's end it with a little lightning round, and we're gonna put a little twist on it, and Hagen's gonna go from interviewer to interviewee. So I'll just ask you all a few questions, looking for quick answers, and we'll just go down the line. Jack, Joe, Hagen. Let's start with who's your funniest teammate?
Liam.
I'd say Nathan.
Gotta go with Nathan.
Okay, who's the funniest of the coaches?
Tyree.
Coach Mills is really funny sometimes.
I mean, Coach Mills, like, I think he's trying to, but Mr. Phillips, I feel like he's happens to be funny.
Mr. Phillips can be really funny. How about who is your favorite soccer player, like a professional player that maybe you emulate?
Enzo Fernandez.
My favorite player is Gareth Bale. Goalkeeper, I'd probably have to say Ederson.
Don't watch that much soccer, but I'd say Messi.
You heard it. How about what's been your favorite class in your time at Trinity?
Sports broadcasting class.
Nice.
Honestly, the sophomore history class, it was so memorable.
Who was your teacher?
I believe it was Richard Hamlin.
Oh my
I believe.
gosh, this is going amazing.
Well, I haven't had your class before, but I'd say, like, ceramics was pretty fun with Miss Sanier.
Yeah, shout out Miss Sanier. How about a pregame hype song that you like to listen to get your mind right?
Oh, I don't even have a pregame hype song.
Maybe you should get one. Listen, maybe Joe has a good advice for you.
Mine's probably "Gimme Shelter" by the Rolling Stones.
Oh wow, that's so good.
I'd say Run This Town.
Oh, I can say Enter Sandman.
That makes sense for you as a Hokie fan. And if you could live anywhere in the world and money was not a problem, like where's a place you think it would be great to live?
Barcelona.
Probably Australia.
New York. I guess just somewhere like big.
All right, last question. Who is someone, could be a teammate, a family member, a friend, a coach, I don't know, but just someone who inspires you to be your best self?
My dad.
Probably Coach Phelps.
This isn't really like a specific person, but like I'd say like the success like at Trinity itself is like a body, like how well like all the teams have been doing. I feel like that's like pretty motivational to like do that yourself and like represent the school like that and carry that succession.
That's a great answer to end it on for Titan fans. Yeah, love it. Well, it was really fun, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Good luck the rest of the season. And stick around. We're going to do another quick segment with Hagen and Ben Snyder coming in. We're going to do an Athlete of the Week segment, so don't go anywhere. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me.
All right, we are back. Really enjoyed that interview with a couple senior soccer players. So I'm joined now by Ben Snyder. Hagen's still with me. Ben, we want to talk about an Athlete of the Week, someone who's made a big impact in Titan athletics in the last week or so. Who's somebody that's struck your eye?
So I've been broadcasting all the soccer games over the past week, and I've gotten to see the team really improve. And a big point of emphasis the first week was the communication aspect of it. And I think with Dias Rusi, not knowing much about soccer, he's just been a real grounding presence. Like, whenever it seems something goes wrong, he's always there to clean it up.
No, that's a great point. And it's funny you mentioned communication because off the field, Matthias is a pretty quiet guy. But on the field, I mean, his voice is very authoritative and just shows tremendous leadership out there for sure. Hagen, how about you for Athlete of the Week?
So for Athlete of the Week, volleyball has been having a pretty good year so far. So Kaylin Watkins did pretty good this Friday. I was able to see, I think, the last part of that match after the soccer game.
Yeah, Caitlin was on our podcast last week, so you can check out that interview if you haven't yet, and she was really entertaining to talk to. But volleyball off to a good start. I believe they're 3-1, and Caitlin is the senior captain, having a big impact there. For my Athlete of the Week, I'm going to go with someone you just saw us talk to, Joe Turkley. Boys soccer has played 4 games, only given up 3 goals. And Joe, but for his amazing saves, it could be a lot more than that. So my Athlete of the Week is the man we just interviewed, or one of the men we just interviewed, Joe Turkley. All right, let's wrap this up real quick with let's do a Rookie of the Week. So rookie would be someone who it's their first year on their first year on varsity for that sport. So it could be a new student or it could be someone that's new to the sport. Ben, you have any shout-outs for Rookie of the Week?
I think Nathan's been really contributing well.
Nathan
He's
Sims.
Yeah, Nathan
Yeah.
Sims. Sorry, he's a really good track runner,
Yeah.
and this was his first year playing soccer, and he's already starting on varsity and getting really good minutes.
Yeah, that's a great call. I mean, you're looking at somebody, like you said, who's broken several school records on the track, but as a senior, tries a new sport, and he's getting big minutes, I think, starting and contributing to a winning team. What do you think?
I'd agree.
You would
Nathan,
agree?
Definitely.
All right, Nathan it is. Also, if you want to get to know Nathan a little better, we had him on the podcast last year for Winter Track. So deep in the archives of the Trinity Athletics YouTube page, you can find us talk to Nathan. That was a really fun interview because when I asked him these questions, he thought that he would. I asked him the lightning round. He answered what he thought what my answers would be. It's like actually like a whole reel of a blooper, but it's still up there. So check that out. But yeah, shout out Nathan Sims. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. We had a good time doing this week, and we'll see you next time.